Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh.
And in episode 344 today, we are going to be talking about the downtown Dallas market, which is a market I don't think much of the Metroplex is paying the right attention to. We're talking about Unit 701 at the Metropolitan. This is at 1200 Main Street. It's a 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home, sits in a corner of the building that has the most spectacular western views.
It does. And one of the things that we're also going to hit are some of the things that locals love in this area, because Dallas is excited right now. World Cup is here, and there's a lot of great things to get out there and enjoy that are just literally footsteps away from this front door. Also, are you ready for this? In Homeownership 101, if you have an emotional support animal, you definitely need to tune in because things are changing in the free pass. Well, it's over and it could make huge changes in your life right now. Let's jump in and talk a little bit more about the numbers in this area because, as Jeff said, there's a lot that is actually happening out here. And we want to make sure that we get it captured properly. One of the things that we do differently in this week is we're actually going to take and look at just downtown. So we're able to draw a geotag around this area. So we're not talking about one zip code. Typically, it's just 75229 or 18. This time it's 75201 and 75202. The neighbors in this area are typically going to be professionals that want to be close to work, that have that urban desire. Maybe they've moved in from an area, and this feels more comfortable and more like home to them.
In new listings, there were 15 new listings in May of this year, which is down 1 from 16 last year. So it's really pretty systematically flat. There's no inventory surge coming. So buyers are really having to choose from what is available in the inventory right now.
So one of the things that we like to do is pride ourselves in making sure that we're not making clickbait. So when we talk about the median price, this would be a really easy one for someone to say, this month, the median price in downtown was $490,000, and that's down from $1.7 million in May of 2025. Well, let's put it into context, Jeff, because there's usually 4 to 8 closings that happen a month, which is not a lot. And when you don't have that much, it's really simple for a single large house at the museum to sway everything across the board and make these huge swings. When we looked at the history, this isn't the first time that we've seen this swing from under 500 to over 2 million. So it happens.
It does. And the numbers that you were just talking about are exactly right. There were 4 closings in the month of May this year, and last year there were 8. So the number of closings right now is a little light, but they're real. Buyers are really making serious offers, and they're getting them deals done.
And speaking of serious offers, what we're also seeing, and this is a really good market trend indicator, is that the percent of median income right now is at 97%, and that's up almost 3% over last year the same time, which was at 94. So the big number and takeaway for that is that this is headed in the right direction.
So 1200 Main Street, number 701, is priced at $389.9, and that is $251 a square foot. That's a great value. You really can't find another property of this caliber in that price point in the rest of the Metroplex.
100%. And so when we kind of step back and let's kind of summarize what we've talked about, we've got a tighter inventory right now. Closings are 4 to 8 a month. Our median is at 490,000. And then we're also getting 97 cents on the dollar right now for those closings. So overall, the market is headed in the right direction. There is tight inventory. And if you're thinking about it, you want to pay attention because this property at Metropolitan, it's pretty great.
Yeah. So the numbers really tell you why you want to live downtown and why you want to consider buying in these buildings. But let's talk about what people do when they actually get here.
So this is a really interesting thing because what locals love really sheds light onto how we function and live in Dallas. And I think it's important because a lot of people, Dallas and Fort Worth is so big that you may not know that this exists, or you may be relocating from LA or Chicago. So one of the things that has really caught on in the last probably 15 years is the Dallas Farmers Market. And the Dallas Farmers Market just was that. It was for the farmers to bring in their stuff, and then restaurants and whatnot would come in and buy. Well, it has grown and has had substantial changes. And to this day, now we have actual really amazing Saturday and Sunday total sales that include lots of artisanal vendors. And then it's also bloomed into additional restaurants. And there's also Rubio's that's down there. Now, this gravitational pull has become so popular that we're seeing lots of condos that are down there, and you're seeing apartment complexes. So it really has created this like epicenter of growth in a section of southern downtown that had not been there 15 years ago.
You know, I was there last night, and there is at a friend's house. We went over to eat pizza and hang out by the pool, and you know, there's a sports community down there just on the south side of the farmers market that I had never seen before. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
One of the other really great things about downtown is the Dallas Art District. Dallas Art District is the home to the largest urban arts district in the nation. 118 acres there. You go from the Meyerson Symphony Center, you've got the Nasher, you have the Dallas Performing Arts Center, you have oh my gosh, everything. And then when you jump in the museums, you have the Nasher, the DMA, the Crow Asian art. I mean, it's just there's so much right there in a 5-block square area.
I absolutely love it. I think that some of the greatest things that they do is the free art, the free concerts that they have on the first Friday of the month down there in the Dallas Museum of Art. Also down there that's happening, that's and we talked about this, that are steps from the front door. This is actually going to be the Exchange Hall. And the Exchange Hall is at the AT&T Discovery Center. And this is a two-story area that has a balcony, and it also has a front covered patio, and it has 13 unique restaurants. So there's no box chains, there's no Chipotle. And it's a really great way for restaurants to kind of test a concept out, but it's a really great way for you to walk down and have 13 different great meals. We've been there multiple times. Absolutely one of the greatest things that they've got down there, especially because I am always concerned about what I'm going to eat and where that grocery store is. Also outside this front door is the Belo Gardens. This is a really great element. Actually, this garden is viewable from the balcony and the office bedroom from this unit. And also, if you're a commuter, what are you, 15 minutes from Love Field?
Oh, at the most.
At the most, yeah. And depending on traffic, you're 25, 30 minutes away from DFW. So there's some really great elements to living in downtown Dallas.
So now let's walk the unit. This is 1200 Main Street, number 701. It's the kind of place that really just takes your breath away once you walk in the front door. So this is the entryway coming in. That is the front door. And as you can see, it's got this really great hallway as you come in. This owner has replaced all of the flooring throughout the unit with this luxury vinyl plank. And then he's done countertops and the backsplash and added light fixtures to really elevate this unit above anything else in the building.
So the condition of this property is probably, if not the best, in the top 5 for condition. A lot of them have this really nice look, but this is so clean. The other thing too is this one has a both living room, kitchen, dining room combination. So there's a lot of flexibility in the way that you use this space. The other thing too is there's a huge wall of glass here that actually overlooks where the Adolphus Christmas parade is. So you can see from here, Kevin talked about how he has hosted multiple Christmas parties where you actually get to watch the floats as they float by.
They float right by window level.
Window level. So this is really incredible. So this is important to me because as downsizers talk about getting out of the suburbs and having this lock and leave lifestyle, one of the biggest considerations they have to make is where do they put their dining room table. This is one of the very few units in downtown that has room for that. That is such a gift to get.
It really is. Because you can entertain here where in many of the units that might be 300 square feet smaller, you can't entertain as openly and as freely as this. This is the master bedroom. And as you can tell, it's really a huge room, king size bed and 2 32-inch nightstands on each side.
So ensuite master bathroom as well. You can see it's been renovated. One of the great things about this, it has a separate tub and shower, which is really great. And again, this is one of those ones that is easy to handle. So when we're talking about what does it come with and what do you get for your money, it just stands out head and shoulders above. This is your first bedroom as you walk in, and you can see it's great size. There's a 4-poster bed, which is enormous. So it kind of lets you realize, yeah, I'm really not skimping. I'm not losing the space in this one.
And this is the third bedroom that the owner uses as an office. He really enjoys having that western view. Like Weston said, it's got a really great view of the Belo Park. This is just the same rooms, just kind of turned around the other direction. But as you can tell, this is also a really large room with an ensuite bath.
Which is great too, because it's got windows on two sides right here. And one of the sets of windows actually looks over this balcony. I wish we had stood that pillow up.
I do too.
That drives me crazy every time I see this photo. Anyway, great views from here. This is going to be where we start talking about the amenities. And this is one of the great buildings for amenities.
The amenities in the building are spectacular. You have this sixth floor pool. It's on a rooftop facing downtown. The views from this are spectacular at night. I mean, they are unmatched. There is a hot tub there for the residents' use on this level. You also have all of this outdoor seating. You can have friends over. You can have dinner out here. There are four propane gas grills that are maintained by the HOA, along with a griddle out there.
So this is one of the buildings, and one of our assistants used to live in this building, and it really is a community. These amenities get used, whether it's the conference room for mahjong night, if they're having movie night, as you're going to see here in a second. There are a lot of elements that if you're new to Dallas, this is a great building to consider because it's got activities. So you're going to meet your neighbors. This is the movie theater. I know that they actually use it to do Oscar parties, and then they'll also have like a movie night out here. So lots goes on. Again, mixers happen here. Easy peasy way to meet people when you're new to Dallas.
Yeah, and if you were having some kind of event where you're bringing catering in, it's perfect. And this is the view from Belo Park to the front of the building, which I think is really just a wonderful view. This is 1200 Main Street, number 701. It's priced at $389.9, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, a little over 1,550 square feet, and at $251 a square foot, it can't be beaten.
Can't be beaten. So one of the things that we're going to do is actually in the comments, we're going to post a link directly to this so that you can click on it. One of the things that we encourage you to do is share it with your friends and family, someone who might be interested in it. If you are looking at for something like this, let us know, and we would be happy to provide you with a private showing. All right. That was a great house. Great, amazing price. So, Jeff.
So let's talk about Homeownership 101 this week. It's a really, really interesting topic, and it is something that I, as you and I, as realtors, deal with frequently. I mean, if not directly, we hear about it. Yes. And I can't tell you the number of times I've gotten a call from an owner in a condo building that we sold something to. And they'll call and say, well, Jeff, I read the HOA bylaws and, everybody's only supposed to have one pet here. But there's this guy down at the end of the hall and he's got 3.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is emotional support animals. On May 22nd, emotional support animals have had their free pass pulled. So prior to this, in 2013 and again in 2020?
Yes, sir.
There was loopholes written. I don't think it was meant that way, but there are loopholes that were allowing people to go online and create emotional support animals. So I have a potbelly pig, and suddenly he's an emotional support animal. Or I've got a fish, and now I need a tank. These were all things that were really problematic for HOAs, landlords, buildings. And it's surprising to me that we're talking about this here and that this hasn't actually been on the news. Because if I were our board of directors, if I was WFAA, or if I was anybody else, I would be running this right now because nobody's talking about it,
and
Jeff.
People need to know because it is going to be a dramatic change for people that have emotional support animals.
So
this whole issue has really kind of created this cottage industry for the letters.
Yes.
Because you can go online, you can sign up, you attest that you need the animal, and then some form of licensed therapist clinician will provide you with a letter that previously owners had to accept, landlords had to accept. The fear is not the complaint being found valid. The fear is the process itself.
Yep.
Because
It is the
I've
punishment.
been through one fair housing complaint process or complaint in my career, I never want to go through that again.
And that is exactly right. The thing that I didn't think was fair is that they didn't pay, there were no deposits or fees paid for emotional support animals. And now the way that it's set up is that your animal has to be able to perform a specific activity related to the disability that you have. And that's a huge difference. I mean, that is getting back down to what it was actually intended for.
And this is effective immediately, effective May 22nd.
Yeah.
So HUD has said we are not even accepting complaints from consumers with emotional support animals after that date.
So it'll be interesting. So for sure, a landlord can say, I've rented to someone in the past that had an emotional support animal. I did that with air quotes. Probably shouldn't do that. Anyway, but they don't have to renew with those. So at that point, some decisions have to be made. There's going to be deposits probably. There'll be fees associated with it. Or you're just not going to be able to rent or stay there.
Yeah.
That is a huge change.
It really is. And in Texas, we pretty much follow HUD. The caveat that I'll throw into all of this conversation is that there are, we're talking about one federal regulation that doesn't, that states and municipalities can have variations to. And so complaints potentially could still be filed through the local fair housing or through the state fair housing board. But this is usually what happens at the federal level does filter down to the states if they have their own policies.
I would agree. And this is also going to give HOAs and buildings back the tooth that they have in their bylaws to be able to say, this is what's going to happen, unless you have proper documentation to support that is an animal for disability tasks. It's over.
It's different. Yeah, for condo buildings, HOA boards now have a lot more control over what is going to happen in this process. If you are in an HOA and you feel this is an issue, reach out to your HOA board, reach out to your management company, ask what their new policies are going to be or when they're going to start discussing it. I would imagine that if I were an HOA board member, I would want to make sure that this issue was brought up at our next meeting, our next HOA meeting, and get consensus on what the building wants to do about it, because ultimately it is the HOA's decision.
If you're part of an HOA right now, this is going to be a time to be attending those meetings, because we are talking right now about emotional support animals. But in the past, we also talked about some of the new requirements that were going to come up to make those financially available for conventional loans, and also what insurances had changed. So there's a lot on the horizon right now that if you typically don't attend those meetings, this is going to be one of those times when you're going to have to really buckle in and pay attention.
So we're going to include a copy of the memorandum in the links, in the show links below. Go read it. Go try to understand it. A lot of it's federal legalese, but try to understand it, and because it is important. So that's Homeownership 101 today.
That's a great topic. We hope you enjoyed that. Next week, we've got a great house that's going to be over in Lockwood in East Dallas that has been renovated. It is amazing. You will not want to miss that. And with that, we're going to sign off and say, just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.